What do you get when you mix the Road Warrior with a Western with a samurai film? The one we're about to talk about. Let's get into it. Back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well out there. Today we're going to talk about a post-apocalyptic 80s film. But before we get into it, like, comment, and subscribe. Join me here. I really would appreciate that. Now today we're going to talk about this little film, which I've never seen until last night. It was a first time fresh watch for me. I've heard of this film, just never saw it. I picked this up on Amazon for like 12 or 13 bucks. And I gotta give hats off to Lionsgate. Their Vestron series Blu-rays are badass. There's some cool special features on here. They really took their care with this film, considering it's a title that I don't hear many people talk about. And I also picked up another one called Extreme Prejudice, which I'm gonna review very soon. It's a Walter Hill film. Now I have seen that film before, but it's been a long time. And there's a lot of badass extras on that one. As a matter of fact, somebody that's on my Discord, Mr. Cablasto, had watched some of the special features. He said there's like an hour interview with Walter Hill. That is awesome. So I can't wait to dive into that disc. But they did a nice job with this disc as well. So let's talk about Steel Dawn. Yes, let me put that down right there. Let's get into this shit. Now, this film came out in 1987. It's rated R. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It had a budget of $3.5 million. And upon release, it only made $562,000. But this film was released by Vestron Pictures, and Vestron Pictures made most of their money on the video rental market. A matter of fact, this film was, when it was written by the writer, there's an interview with the writer on the disc, which I watched last night, which was very informative. He said his original title was Nomad, which is what he wanted it to be called. But the studio changed the title to Steel Dawn because right before this movie got released, John McTiernan's first film, Nomads with Pierce Brosnan, came out. So they wanted to make their title stand out differently so they didn't get mixed up with people that go to the video store, and they changed it to Steel Dawn. So they were already forward thinking about the rental market and how to make themselves stand out from that film. So that's why we got the title Steel Dawn here. And the writer also said in his interview that he meant for this to be a samurai film. And actually the director changed some things and made it more of like a post-apocalyptic, although it was always post-apocalyptic, samurai film, but he made it more into a Western. So that's why in my intro I said this is a dash of the Road Warrior, a dash of a Western, and a dash of a samurai film. So it's a conglomeration of all those three things, I feel anyway, from watching this last night. Now this film was directed by Lance Hoole. Lance Hoole had already worked on, he already directed Missing in Action 2, which actually isn't a bad sequel. I actually kind of like that one. He had worked on the story and produced Missing in Action 1 with Chuck Norris, and he would go on to produce Man on Fire for Tony Scott. I like that film a lot. And he directed 3 other features over his career. I think he's still producing to this day. But in this cast here, we got a nice little cast here. Patrick Swayze plays Nomad, like I said, title character, main character of this film. Lisa Niemi plays Kasha, and actually her and Patrick Swayze were married up until his death in 2009. Thought that was very interesting. And they actually acted together in a few other films over their careers. Brian James, who's been in a ton of films over the years. I mean, the man has since passed away. He was in Blade Runner, Another 48 Hours, Tango and Cash, yada, yada, yada. He plays Tark in this film. He's an ex-military guy. This is like post-World War III. We don't dive into it too much. We just know that the world is basically a desert wasteland from the last war that took place. And Patrick Swayze's character is an ex-soldier as well, as we find out throughout the film. And Christopher Niemi plays So, and he is a gun for hire. Basically, he kills people for money, and that he used to be an ex-soldier as well, as we find out during the film. And his whole purpose is he just goes around, who's the highest bidder, he'll kill whoever if they pay him or give him food or water. And water is the main commodity here. Whoever controls the water controls the land, as they say even during this film. And pretty much this is a post-apocalyptic movie, post-World War III. The world is just a desert wasteland. As a matter of fact, they filmed this film in the deserts in Africa, right around where they filmed Mad Max Fury Road. In the beginning of the film, we actually get this cool opening of Nomad, Patrick Swayze's character, in the desert, and these sand people come up through the sand. They crawl out of the sand, and they try to take his stuff and him, and he kills a bunch of them, and he gets his stuff, and he takes off to the desert. So it's a pretty cool opening, although I will say the fight choreography is not the greatest in this opening scene. And this opening scene, even though there's some cool imagery with the people crawling out of the sand and going back into the sand, the fight scene had me worried about what I was going to get the rest of this film. Like I said, I've never seen this film before until last night, so this was a fresh watch for me. But this movie definitely improves as it goes along. So Nomad does Nomad stuff. He goes across the desert, comes across this compound, this little farming compound, where Kesha is the leader of, and Tark is her main enforcer. Her son lives there. Her husband died in a war. He was a soldier as well, and she has a couple other guys there to help farm. And they have a secret where they have this underground spring, and they basically want to be able to give plenty of water for the whole valley so they can grow crops and build a new city and try to rise from the ashes of what once was. And he ends up staying there and helping them out. But there's another gang close by, another group of people that are violent and are running out of water, and they'll kill anybody to get more. And they hire So to come and kill this new guy because Patrick Swayze's character kicked a bunch of their guys' asses, defending the compound. And that's basically the rub of the story of him helping Kesha fight off these hordes and keeping their land and developing this water supply so they can start building a new city and try to bring life back to what it once was. And that is pretty much Steel Dawn. The movie definitely improves. Like I said, the first scene, the imagery is great. I like the setup. The fight choreography was not the greatest. So I'm like, oh my God, because it was a low budget affair. I mean, Patrick Swayze holds his own. We all know he was a martial artist in real life and he can pull off some of this stuff. It was just the way it was shot. But the movie definitely improves with the action scenes. And the story is very, very minimum, really. It's just about these people trying to survive, trying to cultivate this water supply so they can grow more crops. And like I said, build a new city and start trying to bring life back to the way it was pre-war. And Patrick Swayze is just there basically to help them out and keep these angry hordes and these scavengers at bay. And basically at the end, we get this big fight between So and Nomad. And it's a pretty good fight. It goes on for at least 10 minutes. And both actors give it their all. It's violent. They use swords. So it's pretty much a samurai fight. There's martial arts involved. And Patrick Swayze comes out victorious. And the leader of this gang gets killed. And Kesha and her community get to flourish and grow. And Patrick Swayze's character takes off and says, I don't really belong here. You should be safe now. And her little boy says to him, will you come back and visit? And he goes, I'll be back when the time is right. And he walks off. And that's the end of the film. Patrick Swayze's great here. The whole cast is good. Brian James is good as well. He's always entertaining when he's on screen. I've always appreciated his performances over the years. I mean, sadly, I think he died in the late 90s. He's good here as well, and him and Patrick Swayze play well off of each other. And Tark definitely has his own demons that he's dealing with as well, as we see throughout the film. This is a very simple movie, and it definitely, like I said, pulls tropes from the Road Warrior, Westerns for sure, the samurai parts. Now, like I said, the writer said the samurai parts were kind of watered down for more Western tropes. And I can see that, but the samurai stuff definitely still made it in there. And it made for a very interesting watch. I would definitely watch this again. I would recommend it if you like post-apocalyptic movies. Obviously, this is a Road Warrior ripoff, but it's a pretty decent one. I had a good enough time. Like I said, besides the opening poor choreography and the way it was shot, there's a few other moments during the film where I think the directing is not the greatest, but overall, it's a very solid post-apocalyptic action Western film. And I enjoyed it. I'd watch it. I'll definitely watch it again. There's other interviews on that disc I want to check out. And for the price, I figure what the hell, because I'm going to do a little bit of a Summer of Swayze thing where I'm going to do Roadhouse and Black Dog and do a little trilogy of Swayze films coming up over the next few weeks. So look out for Roadhouse and Black Dog. I've never seen Black Dog either. Brian May actually composed the music for this film, and he composed the music for Mad Max 1 and 2. So Arnold Vosloo is in this film in a small role. This is like early in his career before he did Hard Target and The Mummy 1 and The Mummy Returns, obviously. And this was linked to a classic Western called Shane. I guess Leonard Maltin, when he reviewed this back in the 80s, said this is like a futuristic version of Shane. I've never seen Shane. If you have and you've seen this film, let me know down below if there is a lot of similarities, because I don't know. I've never seen Shane. But overall, this is a solid effort, a solid rip-off film. I would give it a 6.75 out of 10. I was entertained. Patrick Swayze's solid. It's not perfect. There's some poor directing choices here and there. Definitely the fight choreography improves as the film goes along. And once he gets to his compound, I thought the story really, even though it's very simple, there's not a whole lot going on. It's not mind-blowing. I thought it was a solid little post-apocalyptic movie that was made for $3.5 million in the 80s. So at the end of the day, 6.75 for Steel Dawn. Have you ever seen this film? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, share this video. I would appreciate that. I'll be back soon with some more reviews, but until then, bye.